All right, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Washington State hosts a 3-game series with Oregon State this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Coach Lees is here. Let's go a quick look back. The UW series in a position to win on Sunday. You took game 1 with another impressive start with Scotty Sunich, and then game 2 kind of slipped away after a big lead. What did you see from your club this weekend at UW?
Well, we started out the week in Seattle U. Was in a position to win that game as well. Really felt like we should have come back at 3-1 at the very least instead of 1-3. Had some things that didn't quite go our way late in the innings, and in both those, close losses. Friday night, we just didn't pitch well, and I thought we had some very good at-bats, well prepared, swung at the right pitches, hit some balls hard. Maybe a batting average didn't show for it, but was happy about that. Played solid defense again and felt good, and then had the day off on Saturday due to rain, and it was coming down pretty good. Would have been miserable. Had an opportunity to play 2 games on Sunday. Scotty Sunich came out and did what he has pretty much done all year and gave us a great start, and we closed it the right way, but he threw a lot of strikes, got some early outs, competed every pitch, scored enough runs against a very quality pitcher in Demers. And so, we go into the next game feeling pretty good, especially in a doubleheader when you can win that first one. There's very good energy, and felt like we played 8 really solid innings. And when I look back and have some time to kind of view the series, Friday we weren't close. It's really the first time we've been blown out with no chance to win from the get-go as far as being able to put up enough runs to score. But we played 17 very good innings of baseball on Sunday, and I'm very proud of our kids for that. Still some things that we could take advantage of. Our batting average for the week was not great. We were opportunistic in the middle of our lineup with Justin and Blake. They had a very good series and 4 home runs between them, scoring some runs. But we struck out 32 times for the series. It's too high, and we'll continue to address, better ABs and looking for pitches so that we just don't give those away. Infield defense was good. Had a couple errors out in the outfield that really ended up not helping us in that last game. Giving up a run here and there, but very proud of our kids for the way they competed for the day. But we should have won. Should have came back with a series win, and we didn't.
One of the highlights this past month has kind of been the emergence of Parker McFadden, Jr. That's kind of been through the fire. He was a starter his first year, then the reliever last year. Now he's served both roles this year, but now kind of settled into that Sunday spot. The last 2 weeks, he's taken no hitters into the 5th. I mean, he had 5 no-hit innings against Santa Clara. Well, what have you seen from Parker? He did it again in Seattle in front of a lot of friends and family too.
Parker's went through 13 innings where he had not given up a hit, and that's improvement. That's staying the course. Spence wanted to start Parker earlier in the season. Felt like that would be his best role, and he was a little tender, a little sore, and had to work back and go through a progression so that he was ready to go. And with Rosenkrantz, who has not been able to pitch, didn't have him this last weekend. Actually didn't have Cal Waterman or Danny Sinatra either, so that kind of had something to do with the way we played and moving parts. But Parker has really stayed the course, and I think the scouts were very impressed with his outing last weekend. They'd heard about it the weekend before from maybe another scout, or just seeing Pac-12 pitcher of the week and gave up no hits and things like that. But he's really emerged. So pumped for him and so pumped for him because it helps our team. So feel good about 2 quality starters right now. Still searching for a 3rd one, but with Scotty and Parker, those are 2 real Pac-12 starters that give us a chance to win.
And now you're home this week against Oregon State. Obviously, you're very familiar with that program. The Cougs have actually been pretty close. You took a series from them 2 years ago here in Pullman, and then last year you're on the verge of taking the Friday night opener How do you see your club matching up against another good Oregon State team?
Well, this league is, I think we've got 3 of the top 10 teams in the league. Stanford and Oregon State, who we have left to play on our schedule, are 2 and 3, and there's a reason they're 2 and 3. They do a lot of things very well. They're well coached. They've got players who are juniors who they might have 4 players that go in the top, in the first round / sandwich pick, and you can go into the second and third with other players. They're a very confident team that probably disappointed with how it ended last year, so they're hungry. They've got their Friday night starter back from last year, who was arguably the best pitcher in the country, and so it's going to be a challenge, but one that we're going to embrace and really look forward to. We love playing in Pullman. It's going to be great weather this weekend. We've been getting great crowds, and we need these people to help us get over the top.
So what does this Oregon State starting pitching rotation look like for the weekend?
Well, they never say who the starting pitchers are, so we can only assume I would suspect Heimlich is going to pitch. I don't know if it's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, but he's going to pitch. And they've got some other guys. Femmel's been pitching, but I don't know if they'll give a starting rotation yet.
Well, let me take a step back.
Yeah.
What is the pitching staff of Oregon State like? What is their strengths?
They throw a lot of strikes. Nate Yeske has been a good pitching coach there for years. A very good friend of mine, does a tremendous job. They pitch with skill. They've got a lot of velo. Femmel's not so much a velo guy, but he can throw 3-4 pitches for strikes, keeps you off balance, and just gets outs. Towards the end of their bullpen, they can match up pretty good. They've got Pierce and Mulholland and Eisner, and so they can go left, right, and match up with what they need to at the end of the game, and they're getting a lot out of their starters. That's when their starters are going 7 to 9 innings. There's not much left for everybody else. So if you have to prepare for 1 or 2 hitters, it's not like you're putting your closer in the 7th to hold on. They can match up very well.
And in the past, how has this club been able to how have they been able to take advantage of that?
Oregon State?
Yes. Well, maybe not take advantage is the right term.
Well, they're skilled in every. You look at every spot on the field as a draft pick. It's their catcher is arguably the best catcher in the country. He's only a sophomore, and they get a returner with Gretler at third, who could have signed last year. When you get a senior with that many ABs, who's trying to get back to Omaha, it's pretty important. Then you got Grenier at shortstop, and then they got Mandrigal at second base, who's going to be a top 5 draft pick, and Quan out in center, and then they've got Larnick and Wright, who's up in the league for homers. There's no easy outs. It's a grind 1 through 12 hitters. It's not just 1 through 6, and if you pitch to 3 of them, you can get them out. They're relentless and they're good, and so it makes for a tough combination. They're leading the league in hitting. They've got a very good defense, very athletic defense. They've got all the right parts with the weekend starters to be. That's why they're one of the top 5 teams in the country, because they do everything very good.
And last question, baseball obviously is just kind of a game. You're going to send your best hitters up there, and you're going to try and get base runners, and and you're going to try and continue to get hits. But what can this team do this weekend to take, to get the best of a really good Oregon State team?
We're going to have to attack them. I mean, if you decide to roll over, they'll be glad to just take 3 games from you. So we're going to have to come out and play good baseball. When we've played good baseball, we've been right there to win. If you're not going to throw strikes, you're going to leave the ball in the middle of the plate, or you're not going to pick the ball or throw the right base, or if you're going to have between 10 and 15 strikeouts as a team, you don't have very many base runners. So the margin for error is very small. So they're in a position to host and be a national host, and they're working to make sure that happens. And we've got to, aside from not worrying about them, but really concentrating on what we can do and what we have to do. We're going to have to do that. If we think about, the draft picks and how good they are, it would be a slow death. So we need to come out and be ready to play.